How can you come to a wet fit and don't expect for you to get wet? You don't know it's blows you go get. You watching SAT TV.
Bring out the reading, SAT Telecoms.
Welcome to SAT TV News. I am Alicia George, your presenter. In our top stories, asbestos threat at Roseau Primary. Tragic weekend at St. Vincent records 4 road deaths. Philippine police condemned over torture wheel. And in sports, 9 matches scheduled in the National Football Association Division 1 League. Details of these will follow.
Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my yori yori. With you, everything is welly welly. Your love, they make my heart to do yori yori. Nobody can love you the way I do. I'm with you, my yori. What's up? My name is Vas.
And this is Smash.
And we are Brackets.
And you're watching SAT TV. Don't miss it, because if you miss it,
You will lose it.
Brackets say so.
One love, everybody.
How can you come to a wet fit and don't expect for you to get wet? You don't know it's blows you go get. You watching SAT TV.
Welcome back. The University of the West Indies, UWI, hosted an open house on Monday, January 27th at the Dominica site in Emsall. The activities, which included presentations by individual members of the 4 UWI campuses, were mainly directed towards Form 5 students of Dominica's high schools.
We are a little university, but we have a big reach. And we aim for the world, and we train our graduates for the world. We have been very innovative in some of the things that we do. And there are 2 things that came out of the University of West Indies that's impacting the world. Can you tell me one of those things? Yes.
The very interactive session introduced students to life on campus and its many social activities.
Now, the one thing about the UWI is that most of the things that apply to one campus tend to apply to the other. So the excitement, the vibrant student life, as a matter of fact, sometimes we have to say to students, listen, you're here as a student to earn your degree, because there are so many things that are there that can not only distract you, but attract you. Yes? And you will forget what you're there about. But it is important that we have some of our employers here, and they will tell you they don't want somebody who is just going to concentrate solely on accomplishing the work, so that they don't know how to relate to other persons.
She told the students that although they may be bright, employers are also looking for social skills.
If you think Dominica can evolve further and develop in a particular area, explore the St. Augustine campus to see if a scholarship is offered in that area. Work towards it, claim it, follow it, pursue it, and then graduate from it. Return to Dominica and help develop your society.
Other presenters included Mr. Chris Liberd, UWI STAT Ambassador on the Cave Hill campus, and Mr. Kimon Joseph, Marketing and Outreach Officer at the UWI Open Campus in Dominica. In other stories, the Vatican was confronted publicly for the first time over the sexual abuse of children by clergy during a recent United Nations hearing in Geneva. The Vatican, who is a member of the UN, was being questioned about breaches of the UN's Convention on the Rights of the Child, which calls for signatories to take all appropriate measures to protect children. However, various church officials have insisted they have taken action since the abuse scandal to prevent future instances of abuse. Recently, Pope Francis announced that a committee was being established to fight sexual abuse of children in the church.
The good thing about what the Pope is doing right now is that it's helping people to realize that the church is a church that speaks justice. The church practices justice. I mean, if you look at Pope Francis, he says in one of his statements, I think it was a Holy Day, he says the shepherd must smell like the sheep, and that's what the Pope is doing. Empathizing with those abused people, giving a voice to their suffering and to their pain, helping them to realize that yes, the church cares. And what better way for the church to care than to give justice to these people?
Last month, the Vatican refused a request for data on abuse on the grounds that it only released such information if requested to do so by another country as part of legal proceedings. The latest statistics revealed that former Pope Benedict XVI defrocked close to 400 priests during a span of 2 years over claims of child abuse. The victims complained that there is not enough transparency as it relates to child sexual abuse and the church. However, Father Chaplice, who described Pope Francis as innovative and insightful, says the new Pope will make a difference on not only how the church is perceived, but how it deals with sexual abuse matters.
And so what he's doing is using the laws of God and the law of justice to give a voice to the people, to the abused, give them a voice that there is a church who cares, there is a Pope who cares, and allow the priests to face justice for the wrong that they have done.
The Holy See is a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. It ratified the convention in 1990, but after an implementation report in 1994, it did not submit any progress reports until 2012, following revelations of child sex abuse in Europe and beyond. In more news, there was quite an uproar at the Roseau Primary School grounds today, Tuesday, January 28th, after an old building was demolished that was said to contain asbestos inside. Asbestos is a highly heat-resistant fibrous silicate mineral that can be woven into fabrics and is used in brick linings and fire-resistant and insulating materials. Scientific and medical research have revealed that excessive exposure to inhaled asbestos dust can be dangerous to health, leading to asbestosis, mesothelioma, and rare cancer that affects the lining of the lungs, chest cavity or abdomen, and lung cancer. Ms. Veronique George, a concerned mother, spoke with SAT-TV on the reports.
Last week Thursday, they demolished the old building, the old forestry building in the GIS yard. And as there was asbestos, they found asbestos in it. Children started getting sick. There were 3 different cases. Children got sick, they had to take them to the hospital.
According to Ms. George, there was one girl in particular who collapsed twice. The students were evacuated from the school premises on Thursday last week without any notification to the parents on what exactly transpired.
On Thursday, Friday, no school, Monday, no school. But as of up to now, nobody, not health, not education, has told us anything. Parents doesn't know what is going on. Look, today we come to school, the same child who collapsed twice has collapsed again. As you have seen, the ambulance came to pick her and take her to the hospital.
The question on all the parents' minds seems to be, what are the necessary authorities doing and why parents are not informed on the current situation? Ms. George further inquired whether there existed some type of stigma about the school.
When they were demolishing the roof of the Catholic school, of the Catholic church, they notified the schools, St. Mary's Academy, St. Martin's School. They had them closed for a number of weeks because there was asbestos in the roof. So why they could not notify Roseau Primary before they demolished that building which had asbestos? Well, I'm trying to find out if they have that stigma when it comes to Roseau Primary, like some people, they have that stigma.
Another parent who said her son complained about his skin being irritated had evident marks of irritation on hers as well.
And from the time I enter in the classroom with him, my skin started to scratch crazy once, and all on his face have itchy. And we will like the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Education to come and talk to us as parents to know what's happening.
She further stated that she has already brought her son, who suffers from asthma, to the hospital 3 times last week. Ms. Stevens said unless the situation is resolved, her son will not be returning to school. In other stories, after an unveiling of a new committee established to further improve productivity on the island, CEO of the core organizing committee, Mr. Parry Bellot, in an exclusive interview with SAT TV, revealed that they expected to release a new calypso geared towards public sensitization surrounding the productivity movement.
We have been working on a calypso because it's a carnival season. There's a lot of calypso. We have been working, I and a few other persons, on a calypso on the theme of productivity, why it's important to be productive, to do things well, and so on. And I won't mention who is the writer of the song, but it's a fantastic calypso.
According to Mr. Bellot, it is expected that the single will involve many well-known calypsonians. Mr. Bellot, on his drive to sensitize the public, noted that increased productivity can aid poor customer experience, as it is no secret that a lot of persons complain of poor customer service here in Dominica.
Customer service, everybody complains about customer service. And when you give poor service and the customers don't come back, you lose business. And when you lose the company's business, well, that's when layoffs start, because you need money to keep the thing operating. And the more money the company makes, then they can start passing it on. Say, hey, those people are doing well, or clocks, and so on. So everybody gains because the employees gain more money, the company is starting to make more profits or less losses, and government starts getting more money in taxes. I have actually received complaints from some tourists that sometimes, and I think that's been regulated now, somebody would come off the ship and 5 or 6 bus drivers come after them, and it's almost scary for them. So our people have to know, no, one at a time and gently.
Mr. Bellot also gave insight on the sensitization strategy that will be used in the committee's proposition to affect greater productivity.
Initially, a lot of sensitization programs, talking about it with people, other experts, other trainers on that, and going out to the rural communities, as we mentioned, to talk with the village councils, with the community groups, the youth groups, and so on. Let them know what's positive, why we need to do things a little faster, a little better, why we need to be on time.
The song is expected to be released sometime during the carnival season. In more news, speaking at the launch of a new media team appointed by the National Youth Council of Dominica, NYCD, Minister responsible for Culture, Youth and Sports, Honorable Justina Charles, called on young people to amplify their positive attributes so that it dispels the negative atmosphere brought about by the image of overemphasized incidents. Honorable Charles says the government was very encouraged by the outcome of the new undertaking.
The very first meeting I attended during the inauguration, honestly, we were encouraged as government, because there were government representatives at that function. We were really encouraged by the level of enthusiasm, and there is no reason why our support will waver. Instead, we expect our support to increase in ensuring that we can meet the youth at their point of need.
She commended the youth for giving their time, noting that it will add to their own development. She asked that they execute their duties in a way that boosts the morale of young people and portray an image of positivity.
While you are expected to highlight the awareness, the activities that you will be doing, you will also be looking at the challenges that you are faced in day-to-day life, and to give ideas on the development of youth and the development of Dominica. All of these are very, very good. But let me also say that as you do that, let us try to do it in a way that is going to boost the morale of the young people, portray that positive image of young people. So let us find the best avenue and the best way of doing it.
Criticism, as well as challenges, she said, is expected. However, as a voice of reason, she urged the team to not succumb to negative criticism.
Whatever you do now, whatever you portray in all of the activities that you will be engaged in, is going to either build you or break you. And so when you bring out the information, and as you serve to empower by giving information, let's give positive information so that tomorrow, when you become the teachers, the police officers, the prime ministers, the ministers of government, you have set a platform that is going to make your work easier.
In closing, she warned them to be mindful of their attitudes and the way they speak.
One of the things that we notice, or that is becoming predominant a little, is the slangs and the way we speak as young people. It's definitely going to impact on what you do. I have a son, and sometimes I say to him, come, speak properly to me, please. You know? Sometimes we text, and the way we write, the way we communicate through text, as media persons, your language, your writing skills, all of those things are very paramount.
In other stories, the Global Environment Facility, GEF Small Grants Program, in increasing its efforts to empower local communities to implement environmental projects, hosted an opening session at the National Development Foundation of Dominica's building, NDFD, today, Tuesday, January 28th. The project was implemented to build capacity among GEF present grantees and potential grantees with the aim of having a strong cadre of resources within the community on environmental related projects.
Last year, 2013, the NDFD signed a Memorandum of Understanding with GEF Small Grants Program to implement a training project which will focus on facilitating 3 main training programs in the area of grant and proposal writing, which is the first program we'll be implementing for the year 2014. Monitoring and evaluation with a focus on the participatory approach, and program management.
3 trainings will be implemented this year.
So at the end of all of the 3 trainings, we will have a cadre of resources that will be able to write proposals, monitor these projects during the implementation stages, and at the end we'll have successful implemented project with sustainability.
Ms. Agnes Esprey, National Coordinator of the GEF Small Grants Program, says the meetings will focus on increasing knowledge on environmental matters, issues, and concerns. Mr. Lloyd Pascal, representative of the Environmental Coordinating Unit, speaking on climate change, noted that Dominica is feeling the effects of climate change, perhaps just as bad as any other country.
We used to think that because Dominica is not flat like Barbados, Dominica is not flat like Bangladesh, Dominica is not flat like the things that we see on television, so there's no flooding, no rising of water but we have a situation where maybe ours is just as bad because we don't have the proper drains, we don't have the proper infrastructure like the bridges, because those bridges were built 60 years ago. Nobody had thought of this kind of torrential rains.
He highlighted that no longer are we able to properly predict weather conditions.
What is happening around the world is unfair to us, but some people have told us that we don't have to be crying, we have to try to do something. We saw in 1992 that these countries, the richer countries, came in Rio and they promised that they were going to provide all of the technical assistance, all of the finance, all of the capacity building for smaller countries like ours to do that. What they have done is that they've reneged on their commitment. What can we do? Maybe we cannot do anything because we don't yield the power and the monies the world calls for to make a difference. But by all means, we need to know, because that is where you get power, is from knowledge.
The GEF Small Grants Program was established in 1992 and provides financial and technical support that will help conserve, restore, and enhance the environment. And in court news, a man who stole his friend's laptop and asked for sex in exchange for finding it has been slapped with a $1,000 fine. Ricky Pante of Savanpai stole his friend Anis Dubois' laptop from her home at Savanpai on 19th June 2014. According to the prosecution, Dubois secured her home on 19th January 2014 and went to Portsmouth, where she spent the night. Upon her return home, she noticed that the padlock which secured her home was tampered with, and upon investigation, observed that her laptop was missing. That same day, Panfe visited Dubois and she told him about the incident. He told her he can get her laptop, but she would have to give him sex in return. She did not agree, and 5 minutes later, he returned with the laptop. but some of her photos were missing and they started arguing and he left. He returned 30 minutes later with her memory card. He admitted to police that he took the laptop and that he had transferred 3 photos from the laptop to his memory card. In mitigation, Panthe said he did something he was not supposed to do and he was sorry. Magistrate Kandia Correct George informed Panthe that he should learn to respect people's property and should not try to use people's sorrow for his advantage. The fine is payable by 31st March 2014, or in default, he will spend 4 months in prison. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.